We are commanded by God to do what we do. We're not, like I said, we're not just regular men. There's zealots in the scriptures. You read about zealots, all the prophets, and Jesus Christ, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His actual name is Yahushai, and he was a zealot. He told the Romans, Christ, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His actual name is Yahushai, and he was a zealot. He told the Romans, he told them their kingdom will fall. Regular men, there's zealots in the scriptures. You read about zealots, all the prophets, and Jesus Christ, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His actual name is Yahushai, and he was a zealot. He told the Romans.
Ask this man. Boys, you know the ZEALOT.
Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash. Yahweh being the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahushai being the name for His Son, who the world calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and will well, and salutations to you hopeful elect pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yawasop, one of the brothers of the GMS Kansas City camp, coming at you now to the spirit power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is going to be going into an open rebuke on the camp of HOI as well as Sakari, because the statement that brother, no, not that brother, I want to say, but that dude Chief Ephraim just made about Yahushai being zealot was a complete lie. It was a false, man. And clearly this man does not know what a zealot is, and does not know that that's something that you should not want to be associated with as being a zealot. Okay, I'll rewind this again just so you can hear what he said.
But that's what we went out there for.
Okay. And did you march with them at all, or?
No, we didn't march. We went there, and like we do, like I said, we teach 3 days a week in New York. It was something big over there because they're not really used to that, especially where you had left. But that's what we went out there for.
Okay. And did you march with them at all, or?
No, we didn't march. We went there, and like we do, like I said, we teach 3 days a week in New York to do what we do. We're not, like I said, we're not just regular men. There's zealots in the scriptures. You read about zealots, all the prophets, and Jesus Christ, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His actual name is Yahushai, and he was a zealot. He told them.
Let's get what the scriptures have to say about that. Okay, first we can get the definition of zealot here. Alright, so this is zealots, a sect of Jews which originated with Judas the Gaulonite. They refused to pay tribute to the Romans on the ground that was a violation of principle that Yahweh was the only king of Israel. They rebelled against the Romans, but were soon scattered and became a lawless band of brigands. They were afterward called Sakari, from their use of the sikha, i.e. the Roman dagger, which these guys actually took up swords. They believed in not waiting upon the Lord. They believed on taking up swords and taking matters into their own hands. And this man just called, who you illegally call Jesus, one of those dudes. And show me in the scriptures where he took up a sword and actually physically caused bloodshed and fought the Romans. As a matter of fact, in this instance, referring to Acts 5 and 37, when they were upset about paying tribute, he said, "Give unto what is the Caesar's." Okay. So what is this man talking about? That Yahushai was a zealot. and they identify themselves as being zealots. Now, this is with the group HOI, the Pull-Up Boys, that just stated that. But you know who else refers to themselves as being zealots? Reading this last part of the paragraph, it said they were afterwards called Sicarii, from their use of the sikha, i.e. the Roman dagger. That's interesting, because there's an actual group, Israelite group, with that exact same name, Sicarii. Real interesting, huh? Does that sound like a righteous spirit to you? Let's play a little bit more of this video clip to see what the prophets and who you ignorantly call Jesus felt about zealots and their actions and their behaviors.
Boys, you know the Zealot. We played together in Galilee as children.
An age away, Peter. The times reshape us all.
They do.
You are disciples of the Nazarene.
We are.
Your leader had a great following on the streets. The authorities colluded and murdered him. Join us and become a real force to be reckoned with.
Fighting the Romans.
Whatever it takes to drive them off our land.
Live by the sword and you die by the sword.
Better that than like a dog on a leash. Your master preached love. I shall die preaching freedom. Join us.
We are fishermen, not fighters. We may never.
There you go. And let's get that within the scriptures. Okay? This is Matthew 26, verse 52. Then said Yahushua unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. You shouldn't be seeking a carnal way to fight this kingdom. You have to wait upon the Lord. Okay? Who are you to decide when you're going to attack? This is Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. So what in the world is this man talking about that Yahushua was a zealot? The zealots did not keep these scriptures. Most of them didn't even believe in Yahushua. They believed in avenging themselves. And this man just called himself, and he called the Lord, a zealot. I want to play this clip of what Sicarii stated.
Extremist.
Just wanted to hear a little bit.
Right? So let's see if he's extreme. Matthew 10:34. Let's start there. So we know he's black. We know he's about his identity. But let's see if the man is extreme.
This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. It says, Think not, I came to send peace on earth.
Real quick. Shalom to the soldier. Arapayah, man. Shout out to that brother. Go ahead.
Think not, I came to send peace on earth.
He said, think not what?
I'm come to send peace on earth.
He ain't coming to send peace. Read.
I came not to send peace.
But what?
But a sword.
But a what?
But a sword.
That sounds extreme to me.
Yeah.
So Jesus Christ, Yahushua, is a black identity extremist. We've proven it pretty quickly before scripture. We have more. But all the checklists, black identity extreme. He's all of that. He's serious about his identity. He's coming to do extreme things to the earth. Right? So if you label us black identity extremists, we understand that we walking in the same path that was blazed by who the world calls Christ Yahushua. When you call us black identity extremists, we understand that we're on the right path. We're on the right pace. And if you're...
So he wants to be on the right path to identify himself as being an extremist. We just read some scriptures here. Okay? It's not our position to be extremists at all. Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. And that vengeance is going to come when he comes back. He did not execute any of that vengeance during the time he walked the earth. So no, he would have not has labeled himself as being a black identity extremist. Because first of all, we're not black. We're Hebrew Israelites. And you're associating yourselves with a term that the Edomites came up with, the so-called white man, a derogatory term to degrade you by labeling you as being black. So that's strike one. Strike one, you want to label yourself as being something that the so-called white man created to degrade you. Okay? Now, so if you're speaking the color of the skin, you should say brown, if you want to be more accurate. Brown Hebrew Israelites would be more accurate in description of color, not black. Okay? And yes, he was about his identity, which we are the children of God, Hebrew Israelites. That's clear. You're right about that. But as far as an extremist, let's get the definition of extremist or militant. Okay? Extremist, it says a person who holds extreme or fanatical political or religious views, especially one who resorts to or advocates extreme action. Synonyms: fanatic, radical, zealot. Zealot. And we already seen that Yahushua is not a zealot. Okay? That radical action is talking about being physical and extreme. Another word for that is militant. Here's the definition for militant: combative and aggressive in support of political or social cause, and typically favor an extreme, violent, or confrontational methods. Violent means to get physical. Okay, here's the synonyms for it: aggressive, violent, belligerent, assertive, pushy, vigorous, forceful, active, ultra active, fierce, combative. The Lord was not combative when he was preaching. The prophets were not combative when they were preaching. They were only combative when they came to defending themselves. Why are you pushing that agenda? To call yourself an extremist, you're identifying yourselves with being militant as well. And that's off. And it's no coincidence they labeled their group as being Sakari, because they're right back in their lot, man. That video you seen of that dude, Boaz, that's these cats, right back reincarnated. They had a whole army of them zealots that thought they could fight the Romans and win. And because of their actions, they're the ones that spearheaded and started that kickoff of the crucifixion of the Hebrew Israelites, being massively killed. They were the cause of that. We're going to get that within that video.
Israelites are described as a black nationalist hate group with militant overtones.
There you go. So that's what the so-called white man just falsely labeled us as on their agenda on the news. And you just basically went okay with identifying yourself as that. Well, this justifies them coming and killing you, man. And you're pushing that agenda. Which ultimately, yes, we're going to be persecuted regardless. But it's the fact of the matter, you did it in a carnal way as far as forcing Esau's hand. And helping his hand and labeling us as that. We are not zealots. And Yahushua was not a zealot. Okay? Let's go back into this video here.
Pilate visited the temple on Pentecost. Boaz, this is the abomination the prophets talked about. The now time has come. I hope your cause is worth dying for. I hope yours is. Marcus Drusus was found murdered. We've arrested a group of men in the area. Execute them. Deliver up the assassin to us! Blessed be the name of Pilate visited the temple on Pentecost. Boaz, this is the abomination the prophets talked about. The now time has come. dying for. I hope yours is. Marcus Jerusalem's found murdered.
It's the same act that these dudes, when things get really, really heated and tensions begin to escalate, Esau is going to pay one of these dudes to do something like that to one of these politicians or somebody up there famous. And Esau's going to capitalize on that, and he's going to justify demonizing and rolling on the true men of the Lord. The true peaceful prophets that aren't doing anything physically to anybody, they're going to come and send in to attack them. Had nothing to do with it. You cats are off, man, and the Lord's going to deal with you. You are not men of the Lord if you're identifying yourself as being a Sakari or a Zealot. And thus, those two go hand in hand.
We've arrested a group of men in the area. Execute them. The assassin came for me. 10 Jews will be crucified every day.
And that's what happened within the scriptures. That mass persecution of us being slaughtered on the crosses and stuff like that and tortured to death was because of that nigga, man. A nigga that wants to identify being an extremist and not waiting upon the Lord. Not paying attention to his message.
Till I have the man who tried to kill. Should we talk like men or should we squabble like children?
You and I have already spoken. If we're still at odds, then this place is not for you.
Then I fear we are about to squabble.
I don't judge you, and I do not know why you're here. I only know that you believe in a course of action that I will not tolerate or condone. If you're willing to repent your sins in the name of Jesus...
I am a man of God, but I do not recognize this name Jesus from the scriptures.
And that's the mindset of these cats, man. They may call on Lord, these dudes.
The world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ.
They may call upon Yahushai and today's mindset, but really, man, these guys don't have 100% faith. They're going to get carnal. Because this dude is not spiritual. He didn't even break down the confusion of face scriptures. He didn't bring out Daniel 9:7. And he used Eminem as a reference of him not being a Hebrew Israelite because of his vulgar lyrics. That's not spiritual at all, man. The dude's got talent. How do you know that he's not a Hebrew Israelite? Yeah, he's wicked. He's a 2/3 who's going to be destroyed. But that was an opportunity to share that part of the gospel, that we're not black Hebrew Israelites, because we have so-called white men that teach the exact same word, that are prophesying all over the United States. So-called white men. So what are you talking about, dude? That Yahushua was a zealot. Cats like that, man, they're not spiritual. And look at this, man. Look at HOI, the pull-up boys.
Being, how can I say, diligent and strengthening yourself.
Time, be lawful, having fun.
And also being, how can I say, diligent and strengthening yourself. Because right now, we're strengthening ourselves, we're practicing arts of war. Remember Samson said, the Lord blessed his hands and his fingers to war. So right now, we're blessing our hands and our fingers and maybe how
Let's go back into that video.
I recall Joshua, Solomon, King David, all warriors.
Are you so lost to hate?
Do you recall the Psalms, Peter? Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war.
The left is clear. Samson said, the Lord blessed his hands and his fingers to war. So right.
There you go. And fast forward, look what's going on within the video. We're supposed to be giving off an image of being wise as serpents, harmless as dove. But look at this dude, man. With his fringes on, holding a rifle, blasting off.
Should have brought a pair of binoculars.
If you're going to be a Hebrew Israelite and you're going to be following the true doctrine and proclaiming that you're a follower of Yahweh Shai and being a disciple, then you're going to carry yourselves in a way of being his true disciple. They never gave off that image of wanting to be shooting guns and crap like that, man, or having swords and practicing arts of war. That's not the perception that was given when they were at the highways and hedges teaching. And you're using this platform, which you guys use to teach and share videos, as giving off a carnal image. And above all things, you got your blue borders and fringes on while doing it. This lets Esau capitalize on this black identity extremist bullshit that they're pushing out on Israel right now. And you niggas like it. Like he's got his gun ready, right? And look at this.
Give me some competition like
There you go. The exact same stuff. Do you see the spiritual symbolism? These are those exact same niggas right back reincarnated. Everybody's in the same lot, man. So just know, look at these faces. These guys they're putting on CNN and stuff like that on blast. They're getting all those attention. Man, this is the exact same faces. When you getting casted into prison, beat down and tortured to death, it's going to be these motherfuckers' fault, man. Just know that. Even though it does have to happen, the persecution is coming. But these guys are going to be the ones behind spearheading it. Because they're going to get carnal. Let's get some scriptures out. That's not circumspect at all, man. Not circumspect at all. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. The time to kill is not going to come until the Lord returns." Unless you are in Jacob's trouble and you're fighting for your life, and you come across a two-third or a heathen that's looking to rob you of all your possessions and try to ravish your family, then that's a time to kill. You could defend yourself. But other than that, if that's not taking place, there is no time to kill until the Lord gets back. Okay? And you dudes are not going to wait for the Lord to get back. You're going to get carnal. Because you're not spiritual. And you're not true disciples of the Lord. This is Matthew 10, verse 16. "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Okay? For one thing, we have to be harmless. But on top of that, you got to be wise, man. And putting this image out there, that is not wise at all. It is not wise to identify yourself as being a zealot and identifying yourself as a black identity extremist. That's not wise.
Christ. I'm going to tell you that now. You're not in Yahweh Shai, nigga, if you're afraid to be labeled the things that he was labeled.
Right.
That if he was on earth right now, he would be labeled.
Just because he would be labeled as that does not mean he was that. And you dudes are trying to identify as being an extremist. Yahweh Shai would not have identified himself as being an extremist. Yes, he was given threats with the scriptures of what he was going to do, but he was made it very clear he was going to do those things when he returned. He has to wait for his father's go ahead. His father's for the green light. The scripture says he doesn't even know when he's going to come back. Only his father knows when he's going to give him the order to return and redeem us. And when that day happens, then he will be an extremist. But this dude, man, even this dude's countenance, man, it ain't right, man. Proud. And like a lot of brothers saying, these cats are set up. A lot of these dudes are paid. They took a bag or a payment to say a lot of things, to get shit stirred up. Because really, a lot of them don't really have faith. So they take money and push Esau's agenda.
I'm going to tell you that now. You're not in Yahweh Shai, nigga, if you're afraid to be labeled the things that he was labeled.
Right.
That if he was on earth right now, he would be labeled.
We're not afraid to be labeled. They label us all types of bullshit. It's going to happen. Persecution is going to happen. But we're not going to put ourselves in a mindset of actually being those things that they label us. And we're certainly not going to give off the perception of being those things that they label us as. And this dude later on in the video says he wants to put black identity extremists on the back of his t-shirt, and then on the front of it he got Sakari. You basically tell everybody that you're militant. That at any given time you're ready to basically unload on somebody and do some kind of crazy ass shooting, man. That's the type of bullshit you're identifying yourself with.
Your loins up, man. Period. That was 10 to 34. Let's go to Luke 12, 49 to 51. You can get whatever precepts you got on extremism, right?
This is Luke chapter 12, verse 49.
Uh-huh.
It says, I am come to send fire on the earth.
He said, I've come to send what?
Fire on the earth.
That sounds extreme. Fire. Don't that sound extreme to you? That sounds extreme.
Who did he say is coming to send fire on the earth? Did he say he's going to tell you to send fire on the earth, nigga? No, man. He comes to send fire on the earth, not you. That's what these dudes are failing to push across in this lesson. You got the name Sakari on your chest, which is a negative connotation in itself, which means carnal and ready to be militant and execute your own death and violence on your own terms instead of waiting on the Lord. That name itself alone points out who you are and what you're about. Then you okay with being labeled as a black identity extremist? You should have a problem with that. Then you got HOI cats out there shooting at the gun range, and then you niggas gonna have a unity camp with them. So you motherfuckers are just straight up the zealots reincarnated.
Extreme to me, that sounds like more extreme than what we talking about. I'll tell you that.
These guys are just, they don't got that oil, man. They're not right. If you're following them dudes, hey, just know they're going to lead you to a torturous death. I mean, we all got to go at some point, but the men of the Lord, the 144,000, a lot of us ain't going to taste of that death. The Lord's going to raise up those that keep and wait upon him. He's going to give them the spiritual powers to be able to do those things you dream of, to be able to get that vengeance that you want. And it's going to come at the perfect time. Like we read in the last precept, there's a time and a season for everything. This is Matthew 4:19. And he said, and he saith unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. We're still in the time of fishing right now, man. Fishers. Fishing for the hopeful elect, 144,000, 1/3. Not fishing for zealots. And putting recruiting videos of HOI or HOI at the gun range. This is what you cats are about, man.
At least he died quickly.
There you go. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get exactly what you fucking asked for. That right there. Esau is gonna be it's gonna be right upon you, and there's not gonna be any protection for you, and he's gonna stab you right in your gut, and you're gonna be looking stupid.
Whereas you will die very slowly, over many, many days, as an example for all to see.
That's what you want? You want to exemplify this man's behavior, then that's what you'll get. And Esau will do it to you.
There'll be no end to your pain.
Look at them, man. That's what's going to happen to a lot of you cats, man, that are following these false groups. You thinking you're going to get spiritual power and think you're an elect, you got another thing coming. Unless you repent.
For what you did.
His homeboy just put an arrow right through his chest to put him out of his misery. It's going to be your fellow HOI cats. And after he killed that dude, he said he actually called him as being expendable. Didn't honor him anything. Didn't say, he died a righteous death. He labeled him as being expendable after he pushed that arrow right through his chest. And he did that so he couldn't rat him out. Those are the brothers that you're keeping yourself, or you're surrounding yourself with. Instead of trying to rescue him and get him out of that situation, he puts an arrow right through his chest. Fellow cowards. So that's the future for you zealots. That's what a zealot is. You want to be identified as a zealot?
That's this man.
Then you'll die like one. It's not a righteous thing at all. It's not a righteous way to go out as being a zealot. This is Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. That's what we're doing right now. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. That's going to happen after the Lord's return. Okay? Not on your own accord. Not on your own time frame. This is Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Y'all want to be warriors, but you don't want to follow the instructions in the guidebook to almost get that guaranteed warrior superpower spirit, spiritual powers. You want to get the opportunity to fight and get them spiritual powers and wait upon the Lord. But you niggas don't want to wait, man. You want to get carnal. This is Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Foolish, man. Foolish to carry yourselves and label yourselves as being zealots and Sakari. Foolish to want to be labeled as a black identity extremist. Foolish, man. None understanding. None understanding to know that being a zealot was not a good thing. You basically just voluntarily labeled yourself as being a 2/3 to be destroyed by calling yourself a zealot. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. None, man. You're wise to go out there at the gun range and publicize that and put it on YouTube with your blue borders and fringes on. But to do good and keep the commandments and give out the possession of being, wise as serpents, harmless as doves, you don't have any knowledge to do that. You want to be labeled as a guerrilla Hebrew. What kind of shit is that, man? Look at this, man. You see the carnality, the image, the perception you give off? These dudes ain't right, man. You're going to be one of the first cats to go out because you think you can fight Esau. The Lord's not going to be with you to win them battles. Esau's in his blessing right now. He's not getting out of it till the Lord comes back. So, meaning until then, he going to have that massive firepower and SWAT teams until that point. You ain't winning against that. Because you didn't have patience. You niggas are not going to keep Isaiah 40 and 31. You're not going to keep that patience. You've proven it by your actions. I'll read this last precept and I'll close it out. Matthew 26 and 52. Then said Yahushua unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. So if you're thinking that you're going to go to gun range and get carnal with Esau, well, you'll perish that way. There's nothing wrong with you having your own self-defense in times of Jacob's trouble, but don't be publicizing and letting your enemies know what you got. You know, like they say, don't let your enemies know what's in your left hand or what's in your hand. Don't let the right hand know what's in the left hand. You just letting everything be known, letting all your secrets. Then you go into the gun range and you buying these guns that are registered, so they know exactly what you got. They're trackable. Just not smart, man. Being carnal. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And salutations to you, hopefully, like pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Shalom.